And the same old Pakistan, like always, they're playing both sides in this war on terror. Let me explain. Reports say Pakistan helped the US carry out this attack. Just think about the irony. Pakistan sponsored groups like the Al-Qaeda. Osama bin Laden was found and killed on Pakistani soil. But now the same Pakistan is pretending to help. It raises two questions. What kind of assistance did Pakistan provide, and what's in it for them? We'll start with the first question. How did Pakistan help the United States? For starters, by letting them use Pakistani airspace. The US military used the MQ-9 Reaper drone to take out al-zawahiri. Where did that drone take off from? Possibly one of America's military bases in the Gulf. Experts say the drone entered Afghanistan via Balochistan. It used Pakistani airspace to reach Kabul. Is there any precedent for such operations? Well, forget precedent. There is an official agreement for it. Pakistan and the US signed a deal in 2003, and this deal allows US military planes to enter Afghanistan via Pakistan, basically share the airspace. The same deal seems to have been used on Sunday. Then we come to intelligence sharing. Pakistan's Inter-Service Intelligence, or ISI, is close to the Haqqani network. And like we said, the Haqqanis owned Zawahiri's safe house. So chances are Pakistan knew where the Al-Qaeda chief was living. The question is, did they tip off the Americans? Neither government is saying anything, but one statement from Joe Biden's speech stands out. Listen to what he said. And I'm quoting. I'm sharing this news with the American people now after confirming the mission's total success through the painstaking work of our counter-terrorism community and our key allies and partners. Could Pakistan be one of those partners? Some security experts believe it could be, and there are three reasons for that. Number one, the US intelligence infrastructure is virtually non-existent in Afghanistan now. They do not have ground presence in Kabul, no soldiers, no spies, so gathering intelligence would be hard for them. Plus, failure was not an option this time. Do you remember the airstrike on Kabul last year? The US military hit the wrong target. They killed an aid worker instead of a terrorist. So this time, they had to be 100% sure about the intel. Enter Pakistan. Their officials knew the Taliban's deepest secrets. Reason number two, Pakistan desperately needs to reset ties with the West. The US is on top of the government's agenda. Even the army chief is on the job. General Qamar Javed Bajwa spoke to Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman last week. Days later, this drone strike happens, and as they say, there are no coincidences in geopolitics. Reason number three, the Taliban and Pakistan are not exactly on good terms. They've clashed over a number of issues like refugees, the border dispute, and the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. So selling out Zawahiri would not be unthinkable. This whole episode reveals the character of the regimes involved. The Taliban, duplicitous, Pakistan, opportunistic, and the United States, laser-focused. Just think about it. The 9/11 attacks happened more than 20 years ago. But the Americans never stopped hunting. They took out Osama bin Laden after 10 years, and now they've taken out his number two. And don't forget the nature of those operations. They infiltrated Pakistan to kill bin Laden. They breached Syria's Idlib to take out Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. And this Sunday, they flew a drone into Kabul and killed Zawahiri. No respect for borders, no consideration for sovereignty. They saw a threat to their security and they neutralized it. And India could and should learn from this attitude. Most of India's wanted terrorists are roaming freely in Pakistan. Some of them are under ISI protection. Others are living in the good life in cities like Karachi. India has tried everything to bring them to justice, diplomacy, United Nations campaigns, bilateral appeals, but none of it has worked. Pakistan continues to harbor India's enemies on their soil. The question is, what can India do next? The US can get away with raids inside Pakistan and drone strikes in Kabul. They're not scared of reprisals. India too has adopted a similar stance recently. Like the 2016 surgical strike across the line of control or the Balakot airstrike in 2019. In both cases, India struck behind enemy lines. The key to such operations is having a military edge. If your army is stronger, if your jets are more efficient, If your drones are untraceable, then you can think about such daring operations and raids. I'm not talking about unprovoked attacks. I'm talking about protecting legitimate security interests, like taking out terror training camps or targeting safe houses. After all, we're living in times of bold and aggressive foreign policy. Russia is waging a war to repel the NATO. China is threatening dire consequences over a diplomatic visit to Taiwan. The US is flying drones to take out terror masterminds in Kabul. Waiting on the sidelines just won't cut it anymore. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.